Alright, now again, finding the perimeter and area of a triangle where you're not given the height. Now, you could technically find the height of this using a right triangle, but I'm not going to. We're going to practice using Huron's formula. So there is an alternative method to this, and if you want to use the alternative method, you can. If you know what it is, feel free. Alright, but we're going to practice using Huron's formula. Alright, so Huron's formula uses when we know all three sides, but not the height. Alright, so that's an example of what we have above. First thing you have to do is calculate the semi-perimeter, right, which means you add up all the sides and divide by 2. And then we use his formula. Right, and again, it is a more complex formula, and we don't want to use this one unless we have to. But we will. I'll do 2 examples in this case. Alright, so first of all, we need the semi-perimeter, which means we need the perimeter anyway, because the problem asks for the perimeter. Perimeter in this case is pretty easy. It's just add up all the sides. So 9 plus 9 plus 13 comes up to be 31 feet. I forgot my 1. Alright, which we need that because they asked us, and we also need the semi-perimeter, which we label as S. I'm going to change color. Alright, so S in this case is 1/2 the, that's what this stands for. It's 1/2 the perimeter. That A plus B plus C is our perimeter. And so we already know what the perimeter, in this case, the perimeter was 31, so the S that we're looking for, right, the S would be the 9 plus 9 plus 13, divide by 2, and so in this case was 31 divided by 2. You can leave it that, or I actually think it's easier to work with decimal, so I'm going to change it to the decimal 15.5. Alright, so the S that we're going to use is 15.5, which is, this is the S that we're going to plug into this formula. Alright, A, you can label whatever you want. I'll let this side be A, this side be B, and this side be C. Alright, you can label them differently, but those are what I'm going to use. Alright, so area using Huron's formula. Again, you just have, the biggest thing about this is you just have to be really careful. Do not round until the end of the problem. Alright, so first thing is you write in your semi-perimeter. So you type in your 15.5. Then you take each one of your sides and subtract it from the 15.5. Your semi-perimeter should always be larger than any one of your sides. So that you should never, ever, ever get a negative number. If you get a negative number, you've done something wrong. Alright, so you take your 15.5 minus your 9. You're going to do that twice. 15.5 minus the other 9. And then the last one, the 15.5 minus the 13. Alright, you can type it all in one shot, and if you're real comfortable typing things into your calculator, you can. I would, at the very least, simplify inside each one of those parentheses. Alright, so everything is still under the root, so you have the 15.5 times, well, 15.5 minus 9 is 6.5. You get another 6.5. And then you get 15.5 minus 13 comes out to be 2.5. Alright, which you could type that all out. Just make sure it's the square root of all of those multiplied out. Or you can multiply it out if you want to. If you do multiply it out, it isn't a pretty number. Do not round it. If you do multiply it out, it's going to come down to 1637.1875, and leave it exactly. Do not round until the end of the problem. And so the area is the square root of that number. When you do the square root of that number, now you round. And so it comes out 40.462. I'm just going to round to the first decimal place. So 40.5, and we are in feet. Area is the square unit, so 40.5 feet squared is what the area of this particular triangle is, using Heron's formula. So we're just going to practice that one more time. Alright, so fine, using the same method. So perimeter, again, is easy. When they give us all the sides, it's just 16 plus 15 plus 19. So add up all three sides. Comes out to 50, and we're in inches. So 50 inches is the perimeter. Alright, which I need, because in order to use Huron's formula, I need the semi-perimeter. So my semi-perimeter is the sum, divide by 2. So I'm just going to take the 50 that I found, divide by 2. And so this time it's a little nicer number. The semi-perimeter is 25. Alright, find my area. I plug it into that formula, and again, you could call your sides whatever you want. I'll let this side A, this side B, this side C. And so we just carefully type it into the formula. And so 25 is my semi-perimeter, 25. And then it's 25 minus 16, 25 minus 15, 25 minus 19. And again, I would suggest simplifying the parentheses at the very least. So it's 25 times 9 times 10 times 6. Right, so those are those simplified. 25 minus 16 is 9. 25 minus 15 is 10. 25 minus 19 is 6. And you could leave it that and just be careful when you multiply it out. Or multiply those out together and again leave the number whatever it is exactly. This one comes out a little nicer than the last example. This is 13500. And now take the square root. And again, everything's left exact until you get to the final answer. So the final answer is the only time that you round. This time I'm going to round to the whole number. So it came out 116.91. So I'm going to round to 116. It's in inches. So the square unit on that would be inches squared. All right, so that was practicing finding the area and perimeter of triangles using Huron's formula when all we're given is the sides and we don't know the height. All right, we'll finish there. The next set of notes will be in the next video.